Fernando Pimentel for Behind the Gloves.
Behind the Gloves?
Yeah.
Órale.
Fernando Pimentel for BehindTheGloves.com here with Cutman extraordinaire Stitch Duran, man. You've worked with everybody and anybody. You're in the corner right now for Joe Smith working on that left eye that he had with the headbutt and everything. Just talk to us about your experience, not only in boxing, but obviously in the MMA world.
I tell you, man, Fernando, it's been a dream come true. And, you know, every morning I pinch myself and I thank God for doing what I'm doing because, you know, to work with the best fighters in the world in both boxing and MMA and even kickboxing, to me it's a dream come true, man. It's not even a job cut, not, you know, so, you know, I'm real honored and privileged to be doing this.
Now, you've obviously seen the best of the best of the best up close. You've seen Couture, Liddell, John Jones, Mauricio Shogun Rua. You've seen Bernard Hopkins. You've seen Floyd Mayweather. You've seen so many. Yeah. Out of all of the fighters that you've seen, which one to you was not only the most entertaining, but just the best overall?
Well, you know, it's tough. That's a tough one to answer because, you know, one of my greatest fights in MMA was when Chuck Liddell fought Wanderlei Silva. You know, it's a tremendous fight. But, you know, when you talk about individuals, Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko are just, you know, they fall up at the top because they're just classy guys, man. And, you know, being as big as they are in popularity and all that, they're just very common people and very respectful. And, you know, that's what this game is about. Not to say that all these other fighters aren't, but these guys, I've always had a special relationship with them. And I've been with them the longest of anybody, you know, over 10 years.
Now, obviously, again, going down your resume and everything, you've been through it and seen everything. Yep. Have you seen anything as crazy as we saw today? You know, Bernard Hopkins going through the ropes and pretty much at the same time, that's how his career is going to end.
Yeah, you know, that's a bad thing about age, man. You know, you could beat anything, but you can't beat time. And, you know, if Bernard would have gone the distance and lost the decision, okay, but that's you know, I'm sure he would have wanted to choose a different way of going out and ending his career. But, you know, his legacy is always going to be in stone. That's not going to ever change. And, you know, for him to come out at 51 and be part of this history, and I'm glad to be part of this history, to me, you know, it was a challenge that he gave himself. And, you know, not all the time do you know, roll the dice and come out as a winner.
In Bernard's 28 some odd years, what do you think is his everlasting performance?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's too many fights. You know, how can you say Bernard Hopkins? But I could honestly say that Bernard is probably the last of the legendary fighters, the guys that do the tricks and hit you in the hip and all that and get the angles. He's the last of them. James Toney, you know, was second to the last, but Bernard is the last of the classic old veterano fighters.
Got it, understood. And finally, your message for the end of the year. Obviously, next week is Christmas Eve, and the week after that is New Year's. So we're going to start off 2017. Your message to the fans for the new year coming up.
Well, I'm going to promote myself, brother, because, you know, I just wrote my second book, From the Fields to the Garden 2, and that came out 2 weeks ago. It's available on Kindle and Amazon.com. But the first one was such a big success that, you know, the MMA industry was asking about another one, and finally it was time. So, you know, when the UFC let me go, that story's in there, plus a lot of other great stories behind the scenes of many of the great fighters that, you know, you just mentioned, you know.
Perfect.
Oh, my man.
Come on, Stitch.
Yeah. Hey, man.
we was about to have to, like, you were about to cut man my camera right now.
I would have caught it, man. So, yeah, so, you know, go to Amazon.com, the Kindle, and, you know, the name From the Fields, because I grew up as a farm worker, puro Latino, picking tomatoes and peaches and cotton, and, you know, the Cesar Chavez era, and my goal was to make it to Madison Square Garden. So that's the name of the book, From the Fields to the Garden. And coincidentally, my last fight is going to be New Year's Eve for the World Series of Fighting at the Garden, New Year's Eve afternoon.
So you're retiring from being a cutman, or what are you trying to say? You said your last fight, or the last fight for this year?
No, my last fight for this year.
Oh, this year.
Yeah, for this year. No. Hey, como dice la, apenas me ando calentando. Como dice la raza, apenas me ando calentando, carnal. You know, so no, I'm just getting warmed up, man.
Where can the fans get to know more about you? You know, follow you on Twitter. If you have any social medias, let them out. That way they can get
yeah. You know, at Stitch Duran, and then hashtag Stitch Duran, and like I say, the book is going to be available at StitchDuran.com, and I have a new line of tape that's water repellent. So, you know, I'm trying to improve the game and make it safer for the fighters, and coming forward, that's some of the things that I do.
Well, thank you for your time, Stitch. Thank you.
Fernando.
Fernando Pimentel for BehindTheGloves.com with Stitch Duran saying we'll see you at the fights.
If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, make sure you go ahead and do so, because Behind the Gloves is worldwide with our coverage. All you have to do is click this little link right here.